Is there a motion?
This is 2020-432?
Correct.
Yeah, I'd like to motion to make some changes on it, Chair. So
first we need to move to approve.
Okay,
before
move
we
to
do that.
approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded by Ms. Kennedy. Go ahead, Ms. Allard.
Thank you, Chair. So I decided on this one that I think that there is probably a compromise that needs to be happened on my part. And I'm listening to people in my community of what works for them and what's not working for them. So if we look at page, I think we can start on the second page, Chair. And if we can go to EO 13, I wanted to strike EO 13 on line 8, 10. When I say I'm going to go through, strike these boxes, meaning checking them to terminate. 8, 10, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keeping 11, communication to employees and others to known COVID-19 exposure required. Strike 12 and remain remote work. All the others I'd like to terminate.
Okay, so that was a motion to amend to check the boxes under EO 13 version 3 and EO 16, including the sub numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. Is there a second on that motion to amend?
Mr. Chair, could you actually go through that list again, please?
Sure.
The ones that will actually be checked, the boxes that will be checked.
Absolutely. So the boxes are EO 13 version 3, that box will be checked. EO 16, that box will be checked, as well as boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 under EO 16.
Chair, would it be okay? Thank you. Can we, is it possible that we read those out for public record, please?
Sure. So for the numbers under EO 16, it is 1, individuals to limit outings and physical contact. 2, requirements for individuals likely to be contagious with COVID-19. 3, gathering limitations, including attachments A, B, and C, day camps, childcare, indoor shopping, special events. 4, hospitality industry, including bars, breweries, restaurants, and nightclubs, closed except for outdoor dining, takeout, and delivery service. That also includes attachment D, hospitality. 5, bingo halls, theaters, private clubs, and other recreation and entertainment facilities closed. 6, organized sports subject to limitations and closed to indoor competition, including attachment E, organized sports. 7, indoor gyms, recreation, and fitness centers are capped at 25% of capacity and group classes limited, including attachment F, fitness and gyms. 8, salons and personal care services providers limited, including attachment G, personal care services. Retail and other public-facing businesses, legible visitor logs required, and additional requirements of hotels and other lodging.
And we forgot EO 13 requirement for mask or cloth face covering stricken as well.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to it any further, Ms. Allard?
Yeah, I think our economy is hurting. I think that I've been hearing people say and have testified freedom and responsibility are two different things, and they're not. Freedom and responsibility are combined, and I say they're combined because each one of us have the right, the freedom, and the responsibility to do what's right by each one of us individually. I trust my community, I trust people within the community, and I believe that if we want to continue with the remote work, I also believe that communicating that if you are sick or you have some COVID exposure, please let your employees or your fellow comrades know. And I think we can handle this as a community. I believe in our community that we can handle this. Our economy is coming down to the knees, and it's going to be to the point that our businesses are going to absolutely have to rely on government funding. We don't have any money. These people need to get back to work. They need to open their doors, and they need to pursue their American dreams. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think we need to be a little more responsive in terms of what really is going on with our businesses. So I think Ms. Allard explained a lot of that very well. One of the things that I think really concerns me is that we are discovering that people, much like the mayor, said that they really don't know how they could have contracted COVID, yet they did, even with all of the precautions that they know how. That someone knows how to actually do. So that really begs the question then in terms of, so is all of the things that we do the only way to respond to COVID? And I think we're finding that the answer is no. I also think that people who know they have higher risks, I mean, the reason why I'm staying at home is because I'm in that higher risk category, as is my husband. So, we have to really monitor our activity, and we do that. But I don't think it's fair that we lay the entire burden of all of those precautions onto a limited number of our businesses, because we know, and we keep saying this, we know that some will never recover. Yet at some point, the entire community is going to be responsible for trying to figure out how to help these people survive. So the sooner they can open and act in those limited capacities that they can, the better. I think the other thing that's very problematic to all of this is, as much as Anchorage would like to think that we can control the virus, the point is we're a very fluid society. We know that we are impacted by neighbors both to the north and south of us, and we can't control what goes on there, and we can't keep our community from going in those directions to go and take advantage of any of those services or businesses that are otherwise completely open in those other communities. Yet we basically require the sacrifice of our own businesses, which makes no sense to me. So I think if we were to actually allow things to open up at least even to 50% capacity, which this really would allow at least that, then we can allow businesses to operate at least partially the way businesses with our neighbors to the north are operating. And so this makes a whole lot more sense to me, that because we really can't control the virus, what we can do is encourage people to make their own choices. And like I said, I know that there are absolutely people who are doing that, and so that actually will help. We are not able to influence what goes on outside of the municipality of Anchorage, and that is probably impacting us the most, yet we expect Anchorage to make all the sacrifices. So I think this will at least help us to be a little more fair and reasonable in how we approach this. So I'm hoping that everybody will actually see the things that are happening, the changes that are happening, and actually try to do something that will at least in some way salvage some of the businesses in our community. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Perez-Verdia on the amendment.
Yes, actually, I'd like to ask a question of the administration. I have 3 questions. The first one is it true that we can't control the virus? Second, why have we chosen to shut down many of the businesses that we have in this current, what is the rationale for the choices that we've made? And third, how often are we reviewing this information? And, is there a possibility that we may change EO 16 sooner than what has been expected? So three things. Can we control the virus? Why are we doing these particular restrictions? And third, how often are we reviewing this information, and is it possible that we may shorten this time frame that we currently have in place?
Thank you. Who from the administration would like to respond?
Mr. Chair, this is Jason Bachmanstead. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm going to ask if Heather Harris is on the phone, the director of the Anchorage Health Department, to provide an answer.
Hello, this is Heather Harris, director of the Health Department. I'm happy to provide some context in relation or through the chair. Can we control the virus is the first question, and yes, we have, there's ample research that shows that some of our primary mitigating factors is around wearing a mask, maintaining a distance, and washing our hands. And so as we evaluated options in these emergency orders, it was really important to continue to come back to that. And these measures are all informed by that baseline context around being able to maintain mask usage, keeping our distance, and washing our hands. As far as time frame, I'll refer that back to the administration.
Mr. Chair?
Sorry, who was that just spoke up?
That was Mr. Perez. I just wanted to be clear about my three questions. That was a good answer for the first. The second was, what is the basis of the decisions that are being made now in terms of the specific restrictions? And third, how often are we reviewing this data, and is it possible for us to shorten the current time frame?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So as far as the measures, and I hope I can answer this fully at this time, we analyze the information and data given through the CDC. We're in deep collaboration and partnership with the State Department of Health and Human Services. We also consult with healthcare providers, being the hospital CEOs and hospitalist groups, ASHA, and the University of Alaska. And through regular communications with those groups, we are able to determine, and research of just national practices and seeing other examples, as our whole world really battles this and comes up with solutions to move us forward. And so we're reviewing that information and in partnership on a regular basis, sometimes daily, depending on what's going on and the intensity of the spread and transmission of the virus in our community. And as far as time frame or recommendation, as far as the current health orders, the health department is supportive of what the administration has put forward, and that we're able to, the hope is to work to reduce the transmission in the month of December.